Hey guys, welcome back. We got opening weekend at Keeneland and a big stake race card on Saturday. Let's look at one of the races, the Madison Grade 1. I'm going to do this video a little bit different. I'm going to break it down into 4 videos looking at this race and handicapping it. Each video we'll do a pace video, class video, speed, and then form. Sort of smaller videos that way instead of just doing one long video. Looking a little bit more technique-wise in handicapping using Optics EQ and not holding you on for a 30-minute long video. So this being the first video here, let's look at pace. So we've got Optics plot pulled up. Again, I kind of start at the top, want to make sure we have a good plot fit. And again, it's green. Horses seem to line up along the diagonal. And contention being a sun, so not a super hot contention. We've got 3 horses in quadrant 1. Even on standard, the one horse seems to be capable of being part of the early pace if desired. And again, we can sort of map the first call and see that horse is in orange. And then the speed rating is low, listed as 0, so we're looking at a pace that's not incredibly hot. And again, none of these horses are above the par line, so not incredibly fast. You know, doesn't seem like they're going to go out there in California style 21, 22. So from a pace standpoint, no real standouts. There's not a horse that just sort of sets up, oh, this horse is lone. One thing I would kind of say is probably looking at a horse that has some tactical speed because of that low speed rating. A horse that's capable to be in contention, you know, on that turn as they kind of get into that long stretch. Another thing, we'll move on from standard, looking at surface distance just to make sure that none of the horses kind of move around. You know, we're sort of still looking at somewhat of the same shape of horses. And to some extent, yes, we still have those 3 horses in quadrant 1. The one moves over. Just sort of thinking that this horse might be a router, so might be an EP type in routes, and then at one turn kind of more of a mid-pack type horse. As we get into horse by horse, we can sort of figure that out. But usually when I see that, that's sort of like one thing that kind of catches my eyes. It's probably a horse that's shortening up, so I'll figure out, you know, where the true running style is. A little bit more separation from the front of the pack to the back of the pack. Just something to consider, again, sort of tying that back in, a horse somewhat of tactical speed. Then let's look at quad stat. This is sort of a new product that fits with plot, and this is just going to break it down a little bit more as far as percentage-wise where each horse is coming from. So most favorably on this heat map, a quadrant 2 square. I have this on standard. Let me click back over. We'll get back into standard on the plot. Sort of see quadrant 2 square if anybody pops up. 5 seems to be favorable. So win percentage 20.9, so almost 20% wins when you have that plot position. 18 wins and 86 starts. And quadrant 1 square is also favorable, 16.7%, 20 wins and 120 starts. And then some red, so not impossible, just, you know, lower percentage, just something you'd want to think about. And surface distance, let's see if anything just kind of changes a little bit. Seems to favor squares in quadrant 1, quadrant 2, even quadrant 4. Quadrant 2 circles, 13%. I like the heat map. This is like a good visual. You can just kind of see, you know, again, it's not impossible. Even if you're a circle in quadrant 4, 4.7%, 4 wins and 85 starts. Sometimes those horses that are lower percentage, they might be a positive ROI. That's going to be where your, you know, 20-to-1 shots are going to be coming from. So not a high strike rate on the win percentage, but when they do hit, you should expect a big price from there. Again, that's kind of a cool tool that we have. Again, let's just kind of review plot before we end this video. Pace scenario, no real standouts. Looking for a horse that has somewhat tactical speed. We got to kind of look at the one a little bit more as we move on, where this horse is, if this horse is going to be on the pace early or is going to be more of a closer, as surface distance would project. Again, looks like a competitive race. There's no real standout. A few of these horses could win. Looks like the favorite, the number 6 here, 3-1 on the morning line. Positive plot, has that square in quadrant 1, but similar to 3 at 12-1. So from a value perspective, just on pace, something to kind of dig into. All right, next video will be class. That'll be right behind this video. Put it together as a playlist. All right, check it out.